Welcome back. We're super excited. If you listened to episode 1, it was a bit of our introduction. My name is Jess. This is Chrissy. We are the hosts of MomFuel and Mindset. It's probably going to take me till episode 50 to be able to say that without like intentionally saying it because it's a
Yeah.
tongue twister that we did not consider when we made this name. This podcast is truly about real on all things motherhood, careers, relationships, connection with our kids, prioritizing ourselves and where we are, our own mental health is really what our goals are here is to just connect with other moms and become a resource hub for you to come and feel filled. Like we want you to leave this podcast and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not alone. I have goals. I have things that I can work on." We want to be your friends. We want to be your friends and we want to walk your journey with you. This is not your average mom chat. Nothing really is off the table. We want to have the real conversations. The things that they didn't tell you about when you became a mom. The things that as you go through the different stages. Neither one of us have babies anymore, but we have been through that and now we're going through teens and adult and empty nester. We want to have all of these different conversations because motherhood, you never stop being a mom, no matter what age your kids are. And each phase comes with a new challenge. And so here we are. We're excited. And we hope that you are too.
I love that, Jess. And one little plug I want to add there is, and I didn't touch upon it in the first episode, but the topic of co-parenting, right? I think as a mom who co-parents, I understand the struggles of it. And so I want to bring that to the table too. I want to have conversations with those of you that are co-parenting and are struggling through all of that, especially the holiday season, because boy, oh boy, is it hard and it's sad and it's frustrating and all the feels when you go through the holiday season having to share your child or children. It's hard. It's hard. And so I want to acknowledge that. I want to tell you that I'm here with you. I'm going through it too. And we're hoping that we can provide you with a little bit of just support, right? And maybe different ways of thinking about things as you navigate that time.
Yeah, I love that you brought co-parents, single moms, people who are going through this, maybe not ideal situation, or maybe it is a situation that is ideal for you, but that's, brings up different struggles. And this time of year can be really tough because social media, right? Like we see social media is just one big highlight reel. Like nobody's telling you about their real struggles. Posting them online. And so this time of year can be super hard. Parents who co-parent, single moms, right? Where these families may look together and beautiful and it can bring up some different emotions. And so I think that that's a great time to have this discussion because I'm sure there are moms out there who struggle this time of year having to share their kids or, doing what they can to provide their kids as a single mom household or, getting questions from kids. How many times do the kids ask questions about, what Christmas looks like in your family versus what it looks like in other families? All of these things, finances play a factor. All of these things can certainly play a factor in this time of year, which can be a key role in the stress that we carry this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yeah, I think that it's so originally we said we're going to name this episode Christmas Chaos. And then I was telling Chrissy about a movie that I just watched while I was wrapping gifts that was called Oh, What Fun. And it was about a mom who set all these expectations, like the nicest gifts, had plans for her family. They were going in here, 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 doing all this stuff. And the kids were just like, at this point, adult children. We're not holding up to her expectations. They were kind of like, we just want to relax, we just want to chill, and she lost it. Like she took off and she ended up staying the night in a hotel and going out and like hanging out at a bar with strangers. And it was a funny movie. But oh, what fun. I laughed. I was like, what a good name. Like, this is supposed to be the most magical time of the year, right? But is it for moms? Like, is it? What kind of expectations do we put on ourselves? What kind of expectations does society put on us in an already inobtainable, feat that they give us as moms the other 10, 11 months of the year? year. But then comes December and it's like all of a sudden we have to be that much more. And is it what the true meaning of Christmas is? We've gotten so far from what the true meaning of Christmas is. Like, what if we don't? I read this post the other day that was like something about moms make the magic. Moms, you are like you make the magic of Christmas. And I wanted to be like, no, moms, you are the magic of Christmas. Not because of what you buy, not because of all the 19 light shows you take the kids to, not because of, the Christmas Eve pajama box you make, not because of like you are magic just because you are the mom, not because of all of this extra stuff. Is that stuff great? Yes. Are traditions great? Yes. There are things that I love to do with my kids too, but if it is comes at the expense of your mental health, we got to draw the line somewhere. We have to start saying, like, your mom's mental health is more important than 19, Christmas traditions packed into 20 days.
Yeah, fair. And I think, as a mom who I have my 13-year-old, right, a co-parent for her, I have adult children, and so I had to release the expectations of, traditions. I had to come up with our own traditions, and this year was definitely hard for me because one of my children is a police officer. And so, navigating first responder schedules, right? And then all of our adult children and their significant others work full time. And then, having to share custody of my daughter and scheduling around that. We had to celebrate our Christmas with our adult children yesterday. Yesterday being December 14th. We had to celebrate Christmas 11 days early to fit it in our schedule. I was sad.
Did you?
Angry.
Can I butt in for a second? Like, I
Yeah,
want to hear, was there mom guilt? Did
yeah,
you feel like the emotion that came with it because it doesn't look like
yeah.
what we kind of want it to look?
Yes, 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 all of that and more. I was resentful. I was angry. I was like, why can't we just have one day? And then jealous of the families that get it and I don't get it. And what is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Maybe if I played my cards differently, things would look differently. Like all the things. Now, mind you, again, I get 25 years experience in the field. I have 2 graduate degrees. I'm a mom of 3 plus a stepchild. Like I've been around. I know my stuff. I'm educated. And I felt all of it. And I was like, I failed. I failed. That's it. And then I was like, just sitting with my husband, and I just was like, I have to let it go. I can't sit in this resentment. I'm the only one that can choose to learn how to accept this. I don't like it, but I can accept it. And so I let it go and I was like, I'm not going to sit in that negativity anymore. I'm just going to accept it for what it is. And we ended up having a fantastic day. My daughter showed up at 8:30 in the morning yesterday morning and the last people left at 6 p.m. Like it was a 10-hour day and we made the most of it. We played board games, we exchanged gifts, we had a brunch, we did all kinds of stuff together and it was the best day. And all of those feelings that I had turned into gratitude. I was just so thankful for the time that I had with them. I felt honored that they still wanted to be here and spend that much time here, right? And so I've learned that having rigid expectations and having our heart set on certain traditions, sometimes we just have to be flexible. Sometimes we just have to let go of all of that noise, all of that stuff, and focus on what really matters. And what really mattered was time with my children. That's it. And that's what I got. And so I say all that to say, like, I get it. It's hard, and you can create something awesome if you choose to think differently and allow yourself to accept things as they are.
There's a couple things that I wrote down while you were talking because there were so many good things. One, you are a highly educated, very well educated in this specific field, right? But at the end of the day, you're human. You are human who had feelings regarding a situation. So I think that it's very accurate to say that all of us are allowed to have these feelings. Like it's okay. Sometimes I think that we shove them off or, either Well, I take that back. We could go two ways, right? We could either shove them off and we just compress them down with alcohol, arguments, binge TV, so doom scrolling our phone, right? Like we can suppress those, or the other side of it is that we can lean into the feelings so much that we let them control us. And you're human, you have these feelings, but we know that feelings aren't facts. The
Mhm.
facts are you had a beautiful day with your family. You had, just because it was 11 days early doesn't mean that you didn't have that connection with your family. I wrote connection over perfection because just because it doesn't look like what the expectation you wanted doesn't mean that it was a beautiful day with your family. You got to connect with them, which is more important than only connecting with some of them on the 25th because only a handful could have been there. We create such specific things. Like we want certain things. We want our kids to have certain things, want to do certain things. We want, to give them all of the things and we want it to look pretty and perfect. But at the end of the day, if you're not connecting with it and with them, and you're not sitting down and enjoying it because there's so much that has to go into it, is it worth it? Are you getting as much out of it? I think that we as moms just struggle with, and that's our own, right? We put those own expectations on us. We feed into what society has created as Christmas being this magical thing. But if your Christmas is magical on the 11th or 14th or January 7th, like that's not what matters. But we get stressed over what it looks like, the perfection of it all.
The comparison, right? And then like thinking about all the things that I'm gonna see on Christmas and the jealousy, the tinges of jealousy that I'm gonna feel and all the things. And like, I'm not gonna have what society says is like the perfect, Christmas experience. And at the end of the day, my family's blended. And we have adult children with their own lives who are navigating significant other schedules as well. My stepson's married. She's got a big family. So there's a lot of different things here that we have to take into consideration as moms. And I think we just have to give ourselves grace. And again, I love your connection over perfection. I think I'm going to steal that, Jess, because it's so true. I think we want the perfect, right, experience. We want that. But for what? To share on social?
Right.
Or is
Right.
it really to connect with our kids? Because if connection with our kids trumps the perfection, I think connection wins every day.
Of what it looks like on the outside. Because it doesn't matter what's going on the outside. It's what's going on the inside that matters. What's going on around the dinner table, the conversations that you're having. That's what matters. It doesn't matter, I always laugh at that meme that's like, it's like trying to get your kids to take a picture and you're like, sit down and shut up and just smile. And then you post on Facebook and you're like, my whole world, right? My husband's like, this is you. Like, sit down and take the picture. And then on social media, it's like, oh, look at this beautiful day, which is false. But I laugh because that's so true, right? Like it is all, that's why Facebook, like I like social media because I love things like this. I love connecting with people. I love getting to meet and connect with people. I love helping people. It's we connected on,
Mm-hmm.
through ultimately a coaching program that we
Mm-hmm.
found on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I've met some incredible people in my life that I would be so sad if I missed out on it because of social media. But I also know that that is a double-edged sword, right? Social media is also very much a place that moms struggle with comparison. They struggle with what life looks like and perfectionism. And we have to remember that it is internal is what matters most inside your home, inside these four walls, in your heart, in your kids' lives, your relationship with your spouse, even co-parenting relationship. You know what I mean? Like that all matters because it all starts here. You get to decide. You said like you were resentful, but those feelings of resentment turned into feelings of gratitude because at least you had like it was the time and the quality with your kids. I think that we actually should do an episode on managing being a mom of adult children. I know that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, that transition from they're my kids to now I need to like plan around other people's schedules. Some people struggle with that. No, they're my kid. Like, when are you coming to my home? And this is we've done this forever. I know in my family, Christmas Eve was always a thing. And like, when my one brother didn't come to Christmas Eve, everybody was like, how dare you? He's an adult. Like
Hmm.
why are we putting those expectations on our children as well? Now, as a child, an adult child, I can see the other side of it. Now
Hmm.
I'm going to have to go through the mom side of it, unfortunately, probably sooner than later, but this is good information, right? Like, we get to choose how we react. We get to
Hmm.
choose how we respond. And so understanding that connection is more important than perfection. If you don't get to see your adult child on Christmas, that's okay. And how you respond will impact your relationship with that adult child moving forward. If you make their life harder, that is going to strain your relationship. That's going to strain your in-law, the relationship with your in-law. Like, it's very important that we manage and navigate these relationships like they are gold, because it doesn't matter what it looks like. The relationship is the most important piece.
Always. And even if you have a little one at home and you have to co-parent and you can't have them on Christmas because the other parent has them, it's not our child's fault. It's
Yes.
not their fault. And putting them in the middle and making them feel like they have to choose one parent over the other just does more harm than good. So trying to find it within ourselves to accept it, and we don't have to like it, but we can accept it, right? Two very different things. Those two things can coexist, I promise you, right?
Yeah.
And through that, our kids don't have to know we don't like it, right? They don't have to
Yes.
know that I don't like it. Even as big kids, right? My adult children didn't understand the resentment and all the things I went through. I didn't put that burden on them. That was just something I held on to and I talked to my husband about. It wasn't something that I guilt tripped them on, you know?
Right.
After the
Right.
fact, I told them about it, but it wasn't anything that I guilt tripped them on. And so I just think it's one of those things like we are dealing with so much as moms and we're expected to hold on to so much. And sometimes we just have to, it's called radical acceptance, right? Radical acceptance. It is what it is. And just letting go of any kind of expectations we have and just let things happen the way that they happen and releasing any expectations and letting our child or children enjoy, regardless of where they are, and not putting our expectations on to them, I think is important.
I feel like radical acceptance
Yeah.
is like talking about peace, right? Bringing peace to your life. Like, it's lifting a weight. When you accept things for what they are versus trying to change them in a way that you're like white knuckling it, right? Like, no matter what, I'm going to get my way, or I want this because I think it's what's best, can cause some serious strife and struggle in your life. And knowing that not everything can be in your control. Not everything can, it's worth it to come to this radical acceptance. Like, it's okay. It may not be the way that I pictured it or the way that I want it, but it doesn't mean it's bad, right? As moms, like, we struggle with change. I know I'm guilty of it. It took me a long time to get to a place where I was like, change is not bad. Change can actually be very good. There's so much that can happen when you decide to make change in your life. And I think that this radical acceptance is a huge piece of that. Like, it's okay. And I can choose to be happy, even if it doesn't look like what I pictured it or what I wanted it, what other people's look like.
Correct. Yes. And I
Yeah.
think when we come to that acceptance, we just feel lighter. We feel better.
Yes. There's something about like taking that weight off. I remember once I went to a therapist when I was going through my healing journey of just, I want to feel better. I want to be a better mom. And that starts with taking care of me. And so I found a therapist online. I remember telling her once that I felt like I was breathing underwater. Like, I couldn't take a full breath, like, all the time, because I was just constantly anxious and stressed and overwhelmed and burnt out. And I remember like laying in bed and I just was like, I like couldn't take a full breath. And she's like, Jess, the weight that you are carrying by trying to control all of these certain areas, like, you want your husband to do this, you want your kids to act this way. My son has ADHD, and for a long time, it was like I was trying to force him to think the way that I thought he should be thinking because that's how all the other kids think. And how come you can't think this way? And I just was like white knuckling all of these things that I was trying to control. And she's like, there's some things that you just have to let go. Like, you have to let Deegan's brain be Deegan's brain. You have to let Jimmy be Jimmy. How can you support them as who they are versus trying to change them into the people that you think they should be? And I was
Mhm.
like, holy crap, I've done that for so long. And moms, we are the managers. Like, that's what we do. This Christmas time, like, we make all the things. We find all the things, all the breakfast with Santa, all the Christmas lights, all the events, all the fun stuff to do. We make it happen. But if we are trying to create this magic at our mental health expense, I think that we have to take a look at it. We have to take a look in the mirror. How much are we truly enjoying it? Now, I know there's going to be moms that are going to come at me and be like, I do love the best part of my, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the mom who is stressed, is running around like a chicken with her head cut off, is at the end of the day absolutely exhausted, who's running on E, with her spouse, who's, getting, how many times have you told the kids, Santa's not going to come because you're not behaving? Like, how many times have you caught yourself being stressed and being like, I just can't wait till the holidays are over? I remember saying that in the past. Like,
Mhm.
I just want to get through the holidays. What? You only get so many holidays with your kids. Like, I want to create an atmosphere where it's less about presents. And I know this sounds cliche, but more about presence. Like,
Mhm.
just enjoy the holidays, watch Christmas movies, bake cookies together, like set intentional time of just connection. Connection is my word. I know we're going to talk about this in the next episode with the new year coming up, but a lot of people pick words, right? Like, what's your word for 2026? And this was my word last year, and I think that it's going to be my word again this year, is connection. I just want to connect with my spouse, connect with my kids, connect with myself first and foremost, connect with women who are struggling. I think that's going to be my word again, but I
I
digress.
love that. I love that. I think I'm gonna have to borrow that too. And again, my growth is always a word for me too. I feel like I can grow as a mom, I can grow as an individual, I can grow as a wife, I can grow as a friend, right? And that requires connection. It connect that reflection, that inward kind of reflection. What am I doing? What's working? What's not working? And really looking at this past year in 2025, what was on my list of things that I wanted to get done? What didn't I get done that was on that list and why? What got in my way? Was it because I wasn't intentional? Was it because I lost track of time? Was it because why? And is it something I still want to do? And how am I going to make sure it happens in 2026? And I know this is going to sound kind of silly, but we need to make time for fun. We need to make time for the things that we enjoy for ourselves, with our significant others, and with our children and families. And not only do we need to do it, we need to be intentional about it. We need to put it on our calendar. We do, because if it's not on our calendar, it doesn't happen. And so moving
Yes.
forward, I think part of the connection piece that Jess was talking about is really how can I have fun with my kids? It doesn't always have to be about getting your
Yes.
homework done, getting them to practice, getting them to dance, getting them to bed routines and morning routines and all the things that go into being a parent. What are we doing for fun? Right? That's important.
Isn't it crazy when you stop and think about it? Like, when is the last time we laughed together?
Hmm.
Or when is the last time that we, like we get so, I know that I am guilty of being like so into making sure they're behaved, making sure they have manners, making sure, like that sometimes I found that I was like, when is the last time I just enjoyed their company? Like,
Mm.
when's the last time we laughed? When's the last time we played a game? When's the last time I got down on the floor and just played army men with Deegan? Like did Legos. Like we have to be intentional. I know it's funny you say scheduling it in. A couple years ago, when I was first learning about all of this and being intentional with time, I used to write in my planner, because I'm a planner. I would write in my planner on like Thursday night, play a game with the kids, like Uno, play go fish. Like I would write it in my planner because my brain is not, we have to retrain our brains, right? Like
Mhm.
priorities and my, it just wasn't, and it sounds terrible. I literally know that sounds terrible, but it's true. Like, because if not, how many, like, we can get steamrolled by life, right? Like you blink And a month has gone by. I don't even remember November. Like, when did that happen? I'm not sure. Like, it was November 1st, and then all of a sudden it was December 1st. And if we're not careful, go by before we stop and think, like, when's the last time we had dinner around the table, good
Hmm.
conversations, played with the kids, laughed as a family, had a date
Hmm.
night with my spouse? Like, when are we have to be super intentional, which
Hmm.
is a great segue to come back for our next episode where we are going to talk about the new year and all of this stuff, how to be intentional, how to reflect back on 2025. Chrissy said my favorite word, my favorite phrase, which I say in my home all the time: what's working and what's not working. Because if it's not working, it's okay. We're allowed to change it. And if it is
Hmm.
working, then capitalize on it, right? If there were things that you were doing in 2025 that aren't working, let's bring it to light. Let's talk about it. Let's figure out what's working. So come back, find out what is working and what's not in our lives and what we're going to do. Our words. I love that we brought up the words. But I think it's important that we leave you with some things to do over these next couple weeks to help you get through the Christmas chaos and really enjoy this time. You only get so many Christmases, right? Before they all start changing and looking different. And I think it's important. So Christy and I kind of jotted down a couple of things. First one being put your phone down. Chris talked a lot about comparison. It's super easy to scroll social media this time of year and feel guilty, feel anger, feel resentment for the fact that your Christmas may look different. And I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your heart. I know that that's not easy, but I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that we are human. It's okay to have those feelings. What you do with them matters. And we talked about being intentional, scheduling intentional time, slowing down and just really watch a Christmas movie with your kids, play a game of Uno, talk to them about just enjoy that time and be intentional with it because we're gonna blink and it's gonna be January 1st. And did you enjoy this time?
I love it, Jess. Yeah, I think, and sometimes it's like we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. It's too busy. It's too busy. And I think carve out 5 minutes, carve out 10 minutes. It takes 5 minutes to play a game of Uno, right? I mean, we don't have to do anything for hours. We're not saying, you have to carve out a ton of time, even if it's just 5 minutes, it matters, right? And so,
We have time for what we create time for,
mhm,
right? If we create time for all of this other stuff, then we can create time to connect with our kids. And when we
mhm,
start putting it like that, I feel like it changes the vibe. Like you can create that time, and it's the most important time. Everything else is superficial. Everything else, nothing else matters than building that relationship with your kids because it's foundational. You're helping them become who they're going to be when they're an adult. What kind of parent are they going to be? Right. And we get to change that. We get to change that generation of, when we can go down a whole rabbit hole of this, but we get to change the generation, the thoughts around being present parents, being involved in our kids' lives on a more in-depth way versus just surface level.
yeah, yeah, and I know we're tying things up. And I just want to say, like, the pressure is real, right? You're working parents, you're exhausted. It's the holiday season, you have a ton on your plate, and adding one more thing. So we get that too. And so really maybe creating a time where you're already cooking dinner, see if they want to cook it with you. Put on some music, dance while you cook, or like build it within the structure of your day without having to add another thing to your 101
Yes.
list of things to do, right? So,
Yeah.
we understand the pressure of being a parent, and so we're not, and this is by no means saying, like, do this or whatever. I think it's just important to remember that creating quality time with our kids just takes intention, and so just shifting that a little bit and maybe putting our phone down for 5 minutes, and because we do get caught up in that, the scrolling or the checking the email or whatever it is that we do on our phone, right? Maybe it's not social media, maybe it's work related.
Right.
And maybe just putting the phone down for 5 minutes and doing something intentional, I think is worth it.
Absolutely. The last thing that we had was, which I think is, it all goes back, the pressure wheel, right? But how much unnecessary stress do we put on our own plates this time of year? How
Hmm.
many yeses do we say, to all the things? I told Christy before we hopped on here that yesterday I was starting to get I was starting to spiral because I had it in my head that I needed to like clean and organize my kids' rooms and get rid of stuff before Christmas so that I could make room for their stuff that they're going to get. And it was like, okay, but when am I going to have time to do this? I have two kids, two rooms, like we don't have that much time left. When am I going to do this? And I was laying down last night and I finally went, you're not. You're not. It's okay that you can have
Mm-hmm.
a really special Christmas without cleaning and organizing your kids' rooms beforehand. And so
Mm-hmm.
that just made me think like, do we put unnecessary stress on ourselves this time of year? So can we remove anything that is not, of course, there are things you have to do and we fully support that. And there's ways to get through it the best you can. But if there's anything that you can cut off the list, do it. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do it all. And then remove rigid expectations. So, let's be more flexible, give ourselves some grace. We don't need to hold ourselves to these crazy, rigid expectations. Same thing with, removing the stress from your to-do list. Not every box has to be checked. Not everything has to be perfect. Christmas is magical because you are magic. Like you as a mom are magic just because you're you, not because of the things you do, not because of the rigid expectations, not because of the crazy long to-do lists. So I hope, we hope that you take this. We hope that you get something from this. We hope that you will put your phone down, schedule intentional time, give yourself some grace this season, and just truly enjoy your Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And we hope that you will tune in to the next episode where we talk about the new year.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Thank you.